Good Wednesday morning, friends, or afternoon, or evening, or whenever you happen to join. I'm Reverend Jennifer Finley, our Momentum and Discipleship Pastor here at First United Methodist Church in Kirksville. And this is our midweek time to settle in for a few moments, to pause together, to wonder together, how is God at work in our world and in our lives? Where is God meeting us? Perhaps God is still meeting you in your morning coffee like me, or your morning tea, or if you're joining us in the afternoon, an afternoon snack break, wherever you happen to be. This is our time to pause in the swirl of things and to wonder together how God is meeting us in the midst. And in this Advent season, as we've been traveling together, I've been thinking a little bit about snow globes, like this one. Let's see if I can get that turned right. I've got a couple, 3 or 4 of snow globes at home that folks have given me over the years. Family has given me. This one happens to have Mary and Jesus and Mary and Joseph and the baby Jesus. I've got one with an angel and a couple others at home that have different parts of the nativity scene. And I enjoy watching these, and I think we often think about them. They get shaken gently, and then the snow in the snow globe gently settles down, and it looks incredibly peaceful in there, right? But I got to thinking, as there's so much swirling in our lives and in our world these days, as many of us have very full schedules in all of the holiday gatherings and all of that kind of thing happening this week and next week, I got to thinking that sometimes in our own lives, it feels much more like someone, maybe a toddler, is shaking this, and what's coming down and swirling is not a gentle little landing of snow and settling in the globe, but is a continual shaking and swirling. I got to thinking about that I think for many of us, maybe many of you, there have been seasons and times of life where we think, well, when it all settles, when the snow globe of life all settles down, when everything comes to rest, then I will do X, Y, or Z. Or when everything finally settles into place and it's no longer swirling, then I'll be able to feel joy or hope or peace or love. Our Advent times remind us that there are other ways to approach this. Maybe not that all or nothing, well, I can't feel those things until it all stops swirling. Now, I will admit, I am one of those folks that would love to just have the sense that everything that's swirling will finally settle into the place and settle into the ground and nothing's swirling anymore. And then I will have joy and hope and peace. But what I'm learning again, anew, along with you during this Advent season, is that's not usually how life works. And it's not how God asks us to experience life together with God and with each other. Life happens in the midst. And I was particularly thinking about that as we head into this next Sunday of Advent, where we light the candle of joy. And we think about joy. And I think many of us, myself included, have this sense that, well, joy will come when all of the winds start swirling, when all of the glittered pieces settle down, when there's no longer a storm around. And that means that sometimes we don't find those moments of joy, which is why I loved this sense from Kate Bowler. We've been running through some of her Advent devotions, and she talks about small delights. She uses Psalm 36. How priceless is your unfailing love, O God. People take refuge in the shadow of your wings. They feast on the abundance of your house. You give them drink from your river of delights, for with you is the fountain of life. In your light we see light. She goes on to say, sometimes our obsessed with positivity culture forces us to be grateful or optimistic or to find a bright side, but I think we need a wider language to capture the multitudes in a single day. a moment of meh, another of thankfulness, yet another of irritation. Sometimes our grief or sadness or exhaustion catches us by surprise, and the next moment we might have us in a fit of laughter. I don't know about you, but I've been there before. Maybe we should embrace whatever kind of day we are having. She even says that she has that in her office on a poster. My friend, journalist Catherine Price, spent several years studying fun. What does fun feel like? Can we manufacture the experience of fun? Is fun uniform to every person? What if we don't have time for fun? Her research uncovered that true fun, which she defines as a combination of playfulness, connection, and flow, is essential for a joy-filled life. But how do we do it when our lives are too full of the things that rob us of experiences of joy? One practice Catherine started using, she borrowed from writer Ross Gay. When she is in a moment of delight, she takes note of it. She sticks her pointer finger in the air and says, "Delight." This small practice doesn't pretend a whole day is delightful, for they often aren't, but takes a minute to recognize the moments when delight interrupts the monotony of a day. A gorgeous sunset on your way home from work, delight. The joke the kid in your life made that made you crack up, delight. A catch up with an old friend where you felt known, delight. A delicious meal, delight. Clean sheets, double delight. I love how she says that. Catherine explains that finding delight might feel easier than keeping a gratitude journal or other such forced practices that sometimes don't work for most of us. Delights are small and simple pleasures you can identify throughout your ever-changing day. A chance to be honest about the small pin-sized moments of joy in an otherwise garbage kind of day. I loved that when I read that because it doesn't pretend that things aren't swirling in our worlds. And it also doesn't wait until some mythical moment when all of the pieces have settled into place or the winds have died down. It simply is a practice of noticing a small moment, acknowledging it, and then allowing other things to happen in our days and our lives. She uses this blessing for delights. Blessed are you who discover that even in the smallness, your attention might be compressed even more. You who will pull out a magnifying glass to discover, to notice, to taste, to smell the small joys and simple pleasures that make a life worth living. Friends, that's my hope and prayer for you, for me, for all of us as we head into and continue through this Advent season, that even if your snow globe is being violently shaken by a toddler, or if all of your snow is settled on the ground, or if you're someplace in between, that we can together practice delights. And sometimes we simply acknowledge that for ourselves. But if you need someone to acknowledge that moment of delight with you, know that I would always love to hear those moments. We would always love to celebrate those moments with you, as well as be with you through those hard moments as well. For we are in all of this together, friends. So I hope and pray that there is a moment today where you can stick your pointer finger in the air and say delight, no matter what else comes your way. Go in peace, my friends.